133 billion. 133 billion is the total addressable market for artificial intelligence in 2022. Can you guess how much artificial intelligence total addressable market is going to be growing in 2023, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30? 37%, which gives us a total addressable market by 2030 of nearly $2 trillion. That is absolutely absurd in a great way. I'm personally investing in 3 different companies to try to get my personal share of artificial intelligence: Microsoft, Google, and Palantir. Microsoft and Google are at war right now. Think Godzilla and King Kong going at it right now. And each of these behemoths, massive companies, are going to dump hundreds of billions of dollars into artificial intelligence over the next 10 years. It literally is going to be prosperous for both companies, in my personal opinion, and prosperous for myself as well. Microsoft is backing Bing, their search engine, and they're integrating Bing with ChatGPT and now ChatGPT-4 to try to take market share away from Google search. Google is now empowering AI to all Google products, making your life a lot easier when you're searching, when you're writing emails, using the calendar, so on and so forth. And this is literally just scratching the surface of this AI battle. I can talk about them more if you want in the future, but today I want to focus on Palantir, because you see, Microsoft and Google are both $1 to $2 trillion companies, while Palantir is around a $15 to $20 billion company. Palantir is on a freaking massive run today of 5% up during regular trading hours. However, Palantir is still only around $8.50 per share. It's absolutely comical for the absolute beast that Palantir is. And I mentioned Microsoft and I mentioned Google because in a moment I'm about to show you an article where Palantir was actually out AIing Google and Microsoft. Shout out to Twitter. Earlier today I was reading Twitter and they saying that Shyam Sankar in Q2 of 2022 was already quoting experimental integration of ChatGPT-3. Think about that. 6 months ago, Palantir was already fucking with ChatGPT-3 while it was not even a thing. And a lot of people like to compare Palantir to ChatGPT-3, but to be honest with you, ChatGPT-3 is just in the spotlight. It's in the limelight. But in reality, if you compare those two, it's no competition. Palantir's AI is on such a different freaking level, it's ridiculous. But only now are people starting to recognize what's happening with artificial intelligence and the future of artificial intelligence. In a moment, I'm going to show you a few articles about Palantir, but just remember one thing. Palantir works across many different domains, be it government, both military and non-military. Military budget is now going to be $842 billion next year, $1 trillion by 2026. And Dr. Alex Karp is trying to increase the budget to 5% of military spending on software. Think about that. Besides for military government, non-military government, both domestically and abroad, military and non-military. NATO right now is going to spend a shit ton more money on military, and not only on a federal level, but also local municipalities on state levels or the equivalent of state levels for those NATO countries. Palantir works with commercial companies, both domestically and abroad, and Palantir works between different types of hybrids, right? Because sometimes it crosses over. When I first started covering Palantir, they only worked in around 20 different industries. But now Palantir works in 50 different industries, and I'll show you in just a moment. I've never seen anybody come out and say, hey, Palantir, we use them and they suck and they lost us money. No, everybody comes out and say, hey, Palantir is the shit. We love them. They did so much good for us. We saved so much time. We saved so much energy. We saved so much money by using Palantir. The CEO of BP, the ex-CEO of BP, for God's sakes, they bought a 1% share of all of Palantir just so Palantir does not work with BP competition. Not my words. The CEO of BP said this. Tyson Foods, in a matter of a year, saved over $200 million using Palantir. Jacobs Engineering, everything that they use Palantir on becomes that much more efficient on top of being so efficient. The war in Ukraine, artificial intelligence, SkyKit. Know where your enemy is before your enemy knows they're going to be there. And make sure you're not going to be where your enemy believes you to be. You understand? Palantir is literally at the beginning. They've been in business for 2 decades, but it's literally just starting. A perfect storm is brewing right now. On top of that, you now have this massive, massive market of artificial intelligence that's frontline and center. In the future, there's going to be that much more artificial intelligence and machine learning used. No more aircrafts, but unmanned aircrafts or drones. No more manned ships, unmanned mini ships. You understand? I'm just giving you 2 quick examples. Let's go over to my desk. Let me show you really fast what I'm talking about so you guys don't think I'm crazy. This is a report from Grand View Research. They're saying the global artificial intelligence market was valued at $136 billion in 2022 and projected to grow 37.3% from 2023 to 2030. If you go to Palantir's website, these are all of the different markets that they're touching. And make no mistake about it, in every single one of these offerings, Palantir is using AI and machine learning. Our platforms are used throughout the public, private, and nonprofit sectors to help organizations quickly implement solutions to the hardest problems they face. Mind you, the CEO of BP said, we had the smartest engineers that couldn't figure something out for months. Palantir figured it out in a couple of days.
And you said, one of your team said, we might be able to do that better for you. Let's start with the first well. What does it look like? What's the subsurface look like? What are the temperatures, the pressures? And you put that in the model we thought we had. Every single well was different. So there's a giant gas field in Oman that's built out like capillaries in the human body. It was done half the time, much more efficient, great investment. And they helped us with that. So then suddenly I was faced in the company with everybody wanted to use Palantir because it was demand pull. And so we had to prioritize it. I have to say, revolutionized BP. BP bought 1% of Palantir to align what we were doing, which was also another good investment. And we had an exclusive agreement in the energy industry. So I'm really grateful to the talent there. And that's how I found out what big data was, through all that stuff.
Anti-money laundering, applied customer intelligence, artificial intelligence and machine learning, specifically consequential AI for modern enterprises, automotive and mobility, auto racing, consumer goods, cryptocurrency, data protection, defense, ecosystem, edge AI, energy, federal health, financial services, foundry for builders, foundry pipeline for builders, government financial management, health and life sciences, hospital operations, intelligence, Meta Constellation, Palantir Amplify, Palantir HyperAuto, Palantir Readiness, retail, supply chains, telecom, utilities. Palantir is an absolute monster that works across many different agencies. It is freaking robust. But mind you, Palantir only has several hundred clients. Let that sink in. Look at all the markets that they touch, and they only have several hundred clients. And most of their contracts are heavy 7- and 8-figure contracts. Palantir is a beast. This is an article that came out in July 2022. Palantir named a leader in AI and machine learning platforms by independent research firm. The independent research firm is called Forrester. You heard of them many times before. Palantir was among the selected companies that Forrester invited to participate in the Forrester Wave AI and Machine Learning Platforms Q3 2022 report. Palantir was cited as a leader in their research. Palantir Foundry's operating system received the highest possible score in product vision, performance, market approach, and applications criteria. Let that sink in. Palantir received the highest score in product vision, performance, market approach, and applications criteria. And a lot of people are going to say, Adam, how do you know they have 50 different industries? Quite simple. Palantir software is currently deployed in more than 50 industries and powers decisions in some of the most complex data environments in the world, including government and manufacturing, health sciences. This is another report. This came out 2 months after that one. This is September 2022. Palantir ranked the #1 in worldwide artificial intelligence software study in market share and revenue. #1. Now you're about to see some heavy hitters, including the two behemoths that I mentioned earlier, Microsoft and Google. Palantir, a leading builder of operating systems for the modern enterprise, today announced it was ranked the #1 artificial intelligence software platform, both in 2021 market share and revenue, according to the IDC Worldwide Artificial Intelligence Platform Software Market Shares. 2021, AI is being used in more unique ways than ever. Imagine that was 2021. And then 2022, AI is blowing up. And 2023 until 2030, it's absolutely going to moon the fuck up. And either you're part of this revolution or you're sitting on the sidelines. And Palantir most certainly is part of this AI revolution. Palantir, #1, with $1.4 billion in AI revenue. #2, Microsoft. #3, IBM. #4, AWS, Amazon. And #5, Google. This is a tweet from Eddie. Shout out to Eddie. Eddie says, a quote from Shyam Sankar, the CTO, in Q2 of 2022 earnings call. Palantir was at least 6 months ahead of everyone else integrating ChatGPT into their products. And this is the quote. We just launched an experimental feature that leverages OpenAI's GPT-3 to turn natural human languages into pipeline logic. For example, find me all the hospitals that have limited ICU bed availability in the next 3 weeks is transformed into a pipeline in seconds. Think about that. All the rage right now, all the rage about AI is ChatGPT, OpenAI, ChatGPT-4, and ChatGPT-27 in the future. And Palantir was already integrating it 6 months ago. Let that sink in. I mean, they really are ahead of the game. They really are ahead of the curve. They get into it before everybody jumps onto it. Tomorrow, we're going to have the FOMC meeting. I'm on my way to Mexico. I'll try to film it live, but I'm not sure if I'll get to it. But I asked all of my followers on 2 of my YouTube channels, I have 5 of them, and my Twitter, what do we think is going to happen? 76% said on this channel is going to be 25 basis points. I said no rate hike, 25 basis points or something else. 76% on this channel. On the next channel, 74% said 25 basis points. On my Twitter, 70% said 25 basis points, overwhelmingly. This is the CME futures. 88% chance that we're going to get 25 basis points and 11% chance that we're going to get a no basis points rate hike. Now, of course, everything that I'm saying is completely speculative because this is what the market believes the Federal Reserve is going to do. At the end of the day, the Federal Reserve is going to do what the Federal Reserve is going to do. About 10 days ago, I said that there's going to be a mini bull run. I ended up buying a bunch of TQQQ contracts. I ended up making over 100% on that. I posted it earlier on my YouTube. On top of that, I deployed around $30,000 of my money and I bought up Palantir, Google, Microsoft, Tesla, and HIMS because I love HIMS. I do think that there's going to be a little bit of a run because I think banks are collapsing. And let me just rephrase that. I think the government is going to do absolutely everything in their power to make sure that there's not going to be a total collapse like we had in 2008. And make no mistake about this, what's happening right now is worse than it was in 2008. We're talking about a lot more assets on the risk. There's going to be bailouts that are not called bailouts, but they are bailouts. And when this is going to happen, the Federal Reserve cannot raise interest rates. They can, but if they're going to be raising it as aggressive as they did before, they will collapse everything. And as you can see, the markets are doing everything possible to make sure that that does not happen, which means the Federal Reserve is going to be a lot more dovish than hawkish. Even if they raise 25 basis points, what I'm looking for is forward moving statements. Jerome Powell is going to reevaluate how much they're going to be raising the interest rates for the rest of the year and next year, so on and so forth. I am looking for that economic projection, which he said he's going to give us in this meeting tomorrow. Palantir is in a position of a perfect storm. If it's going to happen or not, I cannot guarantee that. I have no idea, right? I don't have a crystal ball. I don't have a Palantir ball in front of me. They are in a perfect opportunity to seize the moment if this perfect storm does keep, moving forward. The perfect storm is artificial intelligence on the front lines, war in Ukraine, possible war in Taiwan, and now the entire collapse of the banking system, which Palantir is working with, by the way. They just made a recent partnership that literally is focusing on banking systems. On top of that, the budget for spending is going up and the interest rates might come down, which is a perfect storm for Palantir to take off. Alex Karp was on Fox, and I guess it slipped that, and that's the way I understand it, that $1.5 trillion of Palantir's money is actually with Treasury, which means they're getting a nice 4 or 5% on that $1.5 billion, which means and makes sense that this is how Palantir is actually going to end up being GAAP profitable for the rest of this year. We might have gotten lucky last quarter, but we need to keep getting lucky. We got to keep showing profitability, because if we don't, we're going to get absolutely shellacked. But if we do, well, we show profitability by getting interest on the cash that we have with the Treasury. At the same time, they can focus on innovation and growth, and nobody's going to bitch or cry. And again, possibly we have a huge opportunity here for Palantir's share price to actually go in the double digits, stay in the double digits, and really take off, especially if we're going to get into more businesses, more markets, and increase our clientele specifically to artificial intelligence and machine learning. I got to wake up in a couple of hours and hit the airport. So I'm going to leave you with this one thought. Make sure 100%, no matter what you got out of this video, keep it clean in between, because hygiene is very important. Until the next one.